Hey guys, welcome to Rat Tech Reviews. My name is Kyle, and today we're going to talk about Psych, Season 1, Episode number 5, 9 Lives. And go ahead and like and subscribe. You can follow my Twitter or my letterbox through the description down below. And so for all you psychos out there who love this show as much as I do, this week's episode brings in Man Boy Cat. And we have people committing suicide, which turns out to actually be murder. So this episode, our intro here with young Sean and Henry ends up the whole cereal box thing. I don't think it's probably been since the 90s since I had a cereal box where there was a prize at the bottom of it, some sort. And Henry's kind of showing Sean, look, you don't have to eat all the way through the whole box to get to your prize. You flip the box over, boom, your prize is at the top. Sometimes you need to just change your perspective on what you're looking at to make it make sense, or make more sense, or path of least resistance, I guess, sometimes. Which does end up playing into the episode to an extent, which I always like, trying to see that connection. For the most part, it usually makes sense. It doesn't always, to me, click as to how it plays into the episode. But so here we have Sean trying to trick and Gus in the beginning. They end up at a crime scene that they weren't supposed to be at, and kind of getting themselves into a case that they weren't initially assigned to, which that happens most of the time. It seems like, for the most part, they're trying to force their way into work, but they witnessed several strings of suicides, which all are suspicious of not being suicides at all, as you could expect. If they were all actually suicides, then this show wouldn't really make as much sense as it does, because that's just not the point of it for the most part. And the second suicide we see in here of the girl in the car is the one that leads to probably the funniest bit in the episode, which is the entire dazzle and stretch scene where Sean is channeling this lady who was cast in the lead of some sort of play. And you have this moment where he starts dancing and moving, and Lassiter can see him through the window, and he's like, what the fuck's going on in there? And you get the whole dazzle and stretch thing, and it's just hilarious. Gotta love Chief Vic. She's not in the episodes much typically as far as time on screen, but she always brings, like, the facial expressions and things she brings to the table are just always wonderful. I don't know what else Kirsten Nelson does as far as acting wise. I've only ever seen her in this, but I think she's just a lot of fun as far as her character goes, even though she doesn't get a lot of screen time. We get a little more development here as far as the gang working together as a group. So you get a lot of Sean, Gus, Lassiter, and Juliet together, which is always nice. And this is a pretty straightforward episode. They kind of link everything back to a call center where there's a suicide prevention hotline, or just people who are stressed in general. And the cat. I should have mentioned the cat already. So the cat comes into play, which is why the episode's called 9 Lives, is because our first crime scene that we come in on here, the dead guy has a cat, and Sean's kind of bargaining that there is a witness for him to talk to, and it's the cat. I love the way he says, I need to talk to that cat. And so he starts taking it around with him everywhere and using it as a, I don't know what you'd call it, I guess, not really a medium, but you know what I mean. Really just a reason to keep going with his shtick as far as being a fake psychic and everything. But yeah, at the call center, there's a very large red herring thrown at you with the goth guy who's kind of using the calls to write better poetry by getting in on people's anguish and things, and his conversation with Gus when Gus is pretending to be a stressed person calling the helpline, and he ends up actually stressing him out. That's pretty funny. I just love the way he says, "Do you ever have dark thoughts?" I think that's awesome. So they end up thinking it's going to be him, and obviously it's not. It ends up being the brother of the first victim, who died before the episode would have started. So there's an off-camera kill that happens before the beginning of the episode. One of these kind of cliche things that we've seen before in other, crime shows and stuff, as far as the whole, somebody I love died, they were weak, people who were weak like them also now deserve to die as well, and they investigate the dead guy's apartment, which is where the brother lives as well, not realizing he was the killer at first, posing as a gay couple, or the guy assumes they're a gay couple, and Sean just kind of runs with it. Then you get the standoff at the end because McNabb's getting married, so he calls the stress line, which puts him in the line of fire as far as our bad guy goes. And as he's trying to get him to kill himself is when everybody busts in, and then you get the great moment where the cat saves the day, and then Sean ends up giving the cat to McNabb himself. So wraps up nicely. Pretty straightforward. Most of Psych's not a hard thinking show for the most part. It's just a good time, and that's really what it's all about. So now we're going to be moving on to probably the first episode of season 1 that I would consider to be iconic status, which is going to be Weekend Warriors, but we'll talk about that next time. If you like this episode and want to comment about it, go ahead and comment down below. Other than that, that's it. Thanks, guys.